I don't know what happened with that, so I sent an email this morning to Catherine Smith at the first precinct to follow up on that. We also.
Sorry, Captain Smith left last week, and there's a new commanding officer that just started literally yesterday or Friday. So there.
I sent out an email to him this morning and I didn't see a bounce back, but okay. So then we will have to start again on that, but we do need to have a traffic enforcement agent there until we can get the situation of the lights sorted out. I did see Ed Pinkar from DOT today. He said that it's a very tricky location, but they do think that they can try to help us with at least a signal in that location as a short-term thing, but they are going to have to do a deeper dive into it. Apparently, it's much more complicated than we think in terms of the infrastructure at that corner. We do not know when the scaffolding is coming down, or the sidewalk bridge and scaffolding is coming down along the Trinity side. I've heard murmurs of October, but it doesn't look likely, honestly, from being there. So and that's taking about 1/3 of the sidewalk all along Trinity, which is where the parents and the kids line up, which makes passage for any normal non-school person extremely challenging through the gauntlet of families. And I think that is where we are with 150. Morton, am I forgetting anything?
No, I don't think so.
I could just say, Rosa, the scaffolding is not going to be coming down till spring, as per Josh Adams at the SCA, which is, really problematic. And so, I think that they're going to do better than that, but this was supposed to be done before school opened, and there was a traffic study done. Ed did a traffic study of this school, and they knew exactly what to expect. And I think we need to just lean on them a little bit in terms of the signage. This was supposed to be here. As you can see, you were on the email I wrote today to Josh, asking him to connect us and make sure that the DOT puts up the street signage, but also your idea of having the painted roadway is going to be really important for people so they don't try to turn into that play street. But I think we need to, he's going to connect us with the building owner and find out what's going on with construction, because that picture you sent me of there's all this debris, even though they've taken down the fence, there's all this debris on the south Edgar sidewalk, and someone's going to fall. I mean, it's, people with strollers.
They literally took it down the day before school opened. It was a rush. job. I'm still happy it's though.
Well, at least they did it. It's too bad it was the day before, but yeah. So I would like to hear, if Nico's having any other issues we can work on for him. But I think that safety agent, like you said, is number one. And you've never had a crossing guard. It's always been kind of an emergency fill-in. So, that I put that request out today as well to that division of the DOE. So hopefully they'll come through. Sarah, can we call upon you to liaise with NYPD? You know them pretty well. And just see,
Absolutely.
because especially with this situation on the south sidewalk and the scaffolding on Trinity Place, it really is like it's really difficult. They're going to need some guidance, especially for those coming across Trinity. So hopefully
We can't hear you, Sarah.
When in our first meeting with the new CEO last week, actually Pat Moore was on it too. One of the first things we discussed was the situation, and he said, he wants to meet everybody and meet with the community. So I will invite the new CEO to this meeting next month, and
Awesome.
we'll get it going sooner.
That'd be great. Thanks so much. Thanks, Rosa, for getting those pictures and everything out so fast. That really helped us get momentum as we come into the brand new school year. I haven't heard from anybody else. Everything else seems okay at our other schools, except for 234, which is also, we talked to Josh about that. That is also going to be the spring, and before that scaffolding comes down, unfortunately, the project isn't finished. Let's see if he had anything else to say about it.
I actually went by, before this meeting to take a look at the school scaffolding situation at 234.
Oh, great.
That, I don't know if I can share this with the owl or you guys already see with the email that can put on. Oh.
We live there every day.
Yeah.
I don't know if it can be washed down because it's particularly dog smelly.
So a part of it is coming down in October. The sidewalk shed along the play yard, along the street is coming down. It's the side one that is spring, guys. So I'm updating what I said.
We see which email.
This was the one, Rosa, at September 8th at 2:00. So he said that the sidewalk shed around the play yard on the street at 234 is going to come down in October. But the sidewalk shed and scaffolding abutting the school will remain in place through spring 2024. So at least in terms of drop off, we'll have an improved situation by October. So that's good. We'll be, of course, reporting back on that as it rolls out. But I think the situation at 150 is kind of all hands on deck right now, because it's a safety concern. And so whatever we can do to make that happen, we need to do. So we will. That's all I've got on that. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay, Max.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, yeah, just, I know we've worked with PS 150 and you guys, I'll, of course, if someone can just send me kind of a list of the issues, I'm just saying we can also, work with DOT and SEA and whatever to, fix what's going on.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll do it right after the meeting.
That's good. Thank you.
So thank you. So Bob asked to add an item tonight, and so I'm going to let him introduce it.
You got it?
Okay, thanks. So Brittany is here. Brittany is our middle school director. She's been with Manhattan Youth 10 years. She is a child of Battery Park City. Her mother is a teacher at PS 276, a highly acclaimed teacher. But Brittany is doing a massive job. And so in our portfolio, Brittany is two schools, Spruce and it's the middle schools. 276. And 276 and 89. But Spruce was over-enrolled last year, where we accepted and ran way over budget. And Brittany, why don't you say what the solution was?
For Spruce,
Yeah.
we requested slots to be removed from 75 Morton to be put at Spruce because 75 Morton no longer has 900 students in the building. It is down to 400 students in the building. So that took a big hit on our budget and our rate of participation. So we opted to try to move slots to Spruce because there was a need there compared to Morton that didn't meet that need anymore.
It was dollar neutral for DYCD, so, but it's still quite a heavy lift to get them to do that. So Kelly McGuire had to sign off on it, and so that's gonna happen. which alleviates the problems at Spruce Middle School. Moises Cordero couldn't be here. He's running our elementary school programs, and the problem that I raised, and I actually had a good interaction with Tammy before she left, is that in middle school, we have a certain amount of slots, and if we can absorb more, or we could say no to more. We're not under obligation to take more students, but we do. We never turn a student away. In elementary school, it's a little different because that is a parent-supported program, and if people, we have a scholarship program, a very robust scholarship program, sliding scale program, maybe 40, 50, $400,000, $500,000 a year that we give out. But if we had heard that on William Street, there was going to be children who needed after-school care at maybe Peck Slip and at Spruce Street and throughout our portfolio of middle schools, but we can't absorb that many. We can absorb a couple, but we've always geared ourselves to the people in the neighborhood, the 80-20, the low-income people that lose their jobs, people that are divorced, that kind of thing. But it is hard to, if we have an influx of migrant students, suddenly, we don't know. And this is really not tied to the recent news events in the news. I'm not, Mayor Adams is rightfully so saying it's busting the city up, $350 a night for a hotel. It seems that and other services. Well, no one thought about after-school programs, elementary, or even middle school. So I spoke to Tammy. She said, maybe put something in the budget resolution. I don't hold up great hope that the DOE is going to do a turnaround. We don't have any contracts with the DOE. But the William Street Family Shelter, we're going to try to make some inroads into the organizations that are running it and see what they can do to maybe pick up their kids or do something. We ran Summer Rising this year for 400 elementary school kids at PS 276. Rose, I don't know if you were there. But we also had, and I reported on that when Kelly was here, Kelly McGuire. We also had about 50 immigration new students. And we weren't given, just my tale of woe, we weren't given contact information from the parents. The parents didn't know where they were sending their kids to. They sent them on a bus. They sent them on the wrong bus. One night we're there till 9 o'clock and getting a complaint from the DOE, but it was their fault. So the kids, we do our best, but the kids are in need of certain services and the parents are in need of certain services. So we're not yet sure how many there will be. I don't know how big that hotel is, the Radisson Hotel.
The one at Pine and William?
I'm gonna find out. I don't know if there's any others besides. Lucy, do you know of any of these hotels that are besides? No.
Wasn't the Holiday Inn? The
I
Holiday
don't know.
Greenwich and Mercer?
Maybe. I'll check that. I'm gonna go walking around.
To
And
my,
see what I
to
see.
my,
Yeah.
to my understanding, some of them that were, they're sending more families down here. So the ones that were just male or single male, they're all turning into family shelters. The one in
Right.
on Greenwich and the one on William Street.
Which
So
one?
so there will be more
Holiday-
children. There will be more kids, families coming down here.
Inn, isn't it, all the Holiday Inn signage is gone. It's,
So it's gonna be a family shelter along with, and the Radisson will be a family shelter, and that is on William Street.
yeah.
And Williams and Pine, so we'll walk over there and see how many kids are in middle school, how many kids are in elementary school. What are they doing for the high school students? You know, we can give people jobs, you know, that of course they can't work. That's the big problem. I'd love to hire some of their parents for jobs. I mean, hire them and then take the weight. You know, it's just very, very, so I'll report back, Brittany will report back next month. But, you know, as of now, I'm not accepting, the students until I have some better, interaction with DHS, DSS, and the agency running the shelter. Tammy was here before, she was livid, she says, they're paying $350 a night, and they're not considering, you know, anything, any of the schools or something like that. DOE, I've been told, has excess capacity because they have a lower enrollment. So they can take students, Tech Slip, I don't know about Spruce, I don't know, but Tech Slip can surely take a couple, 234 can even take students. Their enrollments are down 20%, 276 is down. So they can accept, but we live and die with the enrollment of the schools. And we had a tough year last year, and I'm hoping to correct it this year. So it is a bit of a problem. I'm glad, Max, you're on the call.
Yeah, I'm here.
You know, I don't know what you guys could do. I spoke with Deborah Glick's office. You know, what we can do to accommodate these children and their parents. That's, did I miss anything? That's it.
So are you saying this is purely a funding route, or are you saying?
It's both, because we have some Spanish-speaking staff. I don't know how many we have. Not enough. We had this problem in the summertime. We need foreign language speakers for the parents, with contact information. We need to be able to speak to them. We need to be able to. We had a kid at Spruce last year who was running out the back door. He didn't know where he was going. School safety was running after him. You know, so we need services. But if they give us money, we'll hire Spanish-speaking people. Right now, Moises, our elementary director, speaks Spanish. Who's there every day? It's exhausting by the end of the summer. You know, we need Spanish-speaking professionals. For the money to us, we're not getting any money. We don't have any DOE contracts, so I don't know what to say. Oh, we give $45,000 a year to the Tech Slip School as an opening fee. We pay for elementary school, we pay for security. We don't get a nickel from DOE. We don't have contracts. DYCD is our middle schools, but not for elementary schools. And for Summer Rising, it's DYCD. It's a joint program with DOE, but we don't get any money. And we have 2,000 children in our elementary school. So it's tight. You know, we give a lot of aid to those parents. You know, just for the faculty and newbies. You can come to after school for $10 an hour. That's what the charge if you're enrolled. Where do you get that? Don't get that any other place. We deliver services for $10, $30 a day. There's not a lot of that there. And the elementary school programs have been humming for about 30 years. So, I'm sure we're going to get around. But people should know that, you know, these landlords, as Tammy was incensed, you know, these landlords are getting $350 a night. You know, they're not providing, and I don't know what the organizations are getting either, because there are organizations in those hotels too. So maybe they could give you some staff, but they have to be cleared. Everything nowadays is compliance. They have to be cleared. You can't go into a school, just open up. I mean, you risk getting into big trouble.
So Bob, why don't you walk us through like what actionable, what things we can do to actionable items on this.
If any, I don't know, I'm gonna go to the, when you guys have your conversations, as Tammy's having conversations with a woman by the name of Marcia, I don't think we need anything official yet. If you are gonna go into the capital and expense budget things, we should say, money for after school, for newly arrived immigrant and homeless children. But there's no path for getting us that money. It's luckily Brittany and her team figured out how to get the money into Spruce, but it's hard to get a path to get that money on short notice, but you never know.
The budget route is not a short route.
No, it's,
Max?
it's never a short route, never, but maybe there's something. Maybe there's something, or maybe, yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, raising awareness about these issues so that the general public understands
That's right.
this is one of the trickle down, issues that we have to confront and as this crisis.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
This is all new to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, I think that's really,
Yeah.
and I don't know what that means as far as,
Yeah, and the principals just want more, more, more. I don't know how the PTAs feel about it. But I know the principals say, Bob, Brittany, can you help? Try to help. We've always tried to help.
there's
Well,
just
we certainly can look at this budget. As you know, there are 3 items, youth on the budget that weren't fulfilled from the last year's request. I think that is a problem. I mean, I always look at this budget. I've been on the board now for, how many, 15 years. And I look at this budget that we spend so much time on, and I wonder how much time they spend on it. Because, we did get a couple of things done here last year, way up our list, but we have, 50 some items that needed attention. So granted, it wasn't just a few things, but we still don't have PS 150 safety concerns taken care of on here. We have a lot of maintenance stuff, roadway maintenance that wasn't done. So I think when we look at this list this year, I'd like to be very focused. I think last year we gave, 15 things, and I think we need to really just drill down. That to me is a really important item right now. We have to make sure that as this crisis, deepens, that we're still able to provide the same level of education to everyone. It shouldn't be coming out of existing resources. If we are going to be educating, especially the fact that a lot of these kids are not English speaking. You're absolutely right in that we need more dual language teachers as well as just more teachers in general. That's another problem that we have here a lot, is that when we get resources, they don't match the need. This will take us into our budget item, and I'm going to throw a couple out, and then I'd like to open it up for other people to bring some ideas as well. But to me, now that we don't have an overcrowding crisis, because of the pandemic, we now have a different kind of a crisis in our schools. We have safety, really, really difficult safety issues. And so for me, this situation at Trinity Place should go back, in my view, on this list, and we need to call attention to the fact that it was not fulfilled, and really start putting some pressure on the city agencies to just get that done. I mean, we all knew, we had 6 years before that school was built. 6 years. It was approved in 2016. And the number one thing we said when they chose that location was safety, and that they would have to build a receiving plaza. They would have to have traffic agents every single day. They needed a plan for fire drills. They needed signage. They needed street signage on the ground and in the air. And we didn't want any buses coming out of that tunnel at all. And we compromised and let the afternoon buses come in, but, you know, they took advantage of that without supplying the safety supports. It's like you can't, if you make a deal, you have to keep up all ends of the deal. And so one of the things I'm proposing is to close the spur until they figure out what's happening there and they fix it. I don't think big buses should be barreling up that spur. I mean, so that's one of the things I think should be on this budget. I think, you know, Bob's, assistant with after school is another one. It's a really important one so that we are able to maintain. Uh-huh.
I think the simplest way to deal with it is increase, we haven't had an increase in the DYCD budget for 2 years. So the simplest thing that people may read, as I agree with you, maybe they don't even read it, is increase the budget of DYCD. That DYCD and would be, and then if you want, increase the budget for immigrant children in after school. But it's two separate, different things.
So you want an overall budget increase in DYCD that has to do with the immigrant kids or?
Yeah, you know, if you increase the budget of DYCD, it allows us capacity all over the place. So if DYCD increased the budget 5% for next year, that would be bueno, that would be great. That's a 5% increase, you know, that's, teachers got 4%, you know, there was nothing and we pay pretty good for our per diem workers. So, but it's getting tight. So increasing the budget, just simply increasing the DYCD budget is something that almost every community board should write up. At least they're all of your community board too, Lizzie.
All right, I've got it down. Anyone else?
Wendy?
So, Tricia, one of the things that I think we're excited about is the mayor has instituted every student gets screened for dyslexia.
Yes.
And, you know, I have to say that I think that's wonderful. There's a lot of hype around that, but the execution of that, I would like to know a lot more about how that's actually happening in every school and how, you know, I have no idea how that actually, I mean, I'm not gonna be on the committee, but I'm gonna still listen in on this issue, because I care about it, but, I will say that, you know, that, I don't think every school bought into that. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's just a lot, well, the reason why I say that is a tutor that I hired, you know, a long time ago, you know, indirectly now is helping train schools across the city. And some schools are very receptive to this and some schools are less receptive to it. So, you know, whenever you change a curriculum, it takes time. And especially if people believe in their old curriculum. I'm not saying this is necessarily a budget item, but I think it is a reporting item. And I think that, you know, I would be really upset that when this administration changes, if that is dropped. Because I do think that screening every kid for dyslexia will help all kids.
100%. I don't think all of the schools are doing it. We were told that 19, they started with 19 2 years ago. PS 234 was one of them. So I just made a note to just ask them for a review of how it went. And I know they'll speak quite frankly about that. So if we can find out how that looked there and if they felt it to be a success or have any suggestions, that could be an item for next month. And I think that would be great to dig into that now that they've had time to sit back and see, you know, what their efforts yielded. I'd love the data on it, you know, what they found. We haven't done that, so we should.
Could I chime in?
Yeah, please.
Because the issue is not just, I mean, the screening for dyslexia is very important, but now the entire DOE is shifting over and all statewide, I believe.
To Ward in Gillingham.
well, toward the science of reading.
Yeah.
And, all the teachers have to be trained, adequately trained to teach a new curriculum. And I know that's ongoing. The question is, are they getting adequate funding and adequate training to teach the new curriculum? And I know it's being I believe it's being phased in school by school, not every school. I think Kelly McGuire. Landmark. Oh, I thought you were talking.
Somewhere.
Landmarks is Thursday, we send you an email.
So the question is whether,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. You didn't see your email?
Probably not.
Well, apologize.
Have a cookie, though, you showed up.
Some-
Never had a cot. You have a cot?
Sorry?
Thank you. Bye.
Mark, if you want to continue?
the only just want to say, the question is whether adequate training is going on and whether they're getting adequate funding to do the training. That's a very important question.
So we'll put those items on our agenda for October. Thank you guys for bringing them here because I think we should be checking in on this. But let's get back to the budget items that we are called upon to do this month. Is there anything else that someone would like to bring? No needs? I have another one then. I just didn't want to be greedy. So we went to great pains to get the community center back up and running at Stuyvesant.
Or just,
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
I don't know. Has anybody else been over there?
Turn to where?
Stuyvesant.
The Stuyvesant Community Center. So I joined it. I used to belong right back when I was pregnant with the girls, and their pool was great. And it's a really lovely, Stuyvesant's a lovely school, and they need the money, and it's a win-win situation. And but I was really disappointed when I went back after that time that absolutely not one improvement had been made, and the place is in terrible disrepair. They have one of those press-on mirrored walls, that's not a glass mirror. And all of it is peeling off. It's just literally hanging there, peeling off the wall. The remaining wall that was supposed to be mirrored 4 years ago, I was told, was never done. I talked to a woman at the front who said that she has been in touch with her boss in Battery Park City. I guess it's Bob, you probably know more about this, like who is in charge of that community center and the improvements and where the money comes from.
It would be DOE. I don't think the Battery Park City Authority, I could check because I'm actually meeting with them in about a week. But I don't
Well,
think.
Max, I was gonna call on Chris Marte too to give us a hand with this because I think it's probably complicated. It is a school, but it's something that runs after school hours.
Yeah, it's still DOE, but you might have, I'm sorry to cut you off, Trish. There might be a way that the Battery Park City has a way of getting things done. So they may, I would still pursue that.
Yeah, it's a problem, and it's not like there's a safety issue now in there. That all the lights were out, they were all blown out, and only half of them were.
That's DOE.
And they have too much equipment in the room, and someone almost had something dropped on their leg. I mean, it's not a good situation. They really haven't had anybody put eyes on that place. So I'd like to add that if there isn't something more urgent. I think it's pretty urgent. So that's 4 that we have.
Okay. I know where to ask that question. I love that.
I think that should also maybe be a topic for Josh from SCA come in next month.
Yeah.
No?
Maybe.
I think you're right. Again, I think having a whole meeting about that community center is also raising awareness. If they want members and everything else to say, maybe members join and then they drop out because they're so frustrated with how messy it is. And how, I used to belong years ago and it was the same type of thing. It was either feast or famine. Sometimes you'd go there and there was, no place to go and, everything was overcrowded because too many people. Another time you'd go and you have the whole place to yourself. So, I don't know how it is now.
Well, what I learned, Wendy, because I was there and it was really crowded, but they had swimmers from Asphalt Green doing time trials and during the hours that the community center was operating. And I asked them about it. I said, are they community center members? I mean, because if so, that's cool, And they said no, that they have lots of different people now and different groups coming in and also using the facilities at that time. And I think that people that belong to a community center have the right to have the center at the very limited hours that they offer it. It's only like 7 to 10 p.m. on weekdays and like 3 to 8 on the weekends. It's nothing, it's not a lot of time. The school gets it for most of the time. But to then be faced with students again, when and if the community members do go, it's intimidating. If you're out for a swim, for exercise as a community member, and you have, 3 18-year-old, agua competitive swimmers in your lane, it's a different vibe, right? And then it's the same with the weight room. If you have 18-year-old males that are Stuyvesant kids or people that are training for high school and college level sports, it's not a great combination with the community center.
Along that line, I don't know, is BMCC still have community center hours? I mean, that's a similar discussion. I honestly don't know.
I actually checked on that.
Yeah.
They do have, some limited hours in the morning. I forget on the weekends also, but during the week, it's like 8 to 10 or something like that, and every morning. They reinstituted that just last year.
That's for the pool.
That's for the pool. Right.
Yeah. That might be good to get an update from both organizations.
I can get that for you.
Yeah.
I know that the information to register is through the BMCC continuing ed.
Right.
It's really weird how it's set up.
Exactly. Yeah, I used that 2 years ago, and then before COVID, I was actually using it when they shut the pool down for COVID, and then they kept it closed for a while, and then they reinstituted just last year.
I think that's a good thing for us to know and share with the community how that works.
I'll get it to you this week.
Yeah, that'd be
I'll
great.
email it to all of you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
And how many people are using it and what's the capacity, if it's under capacity, if it's over capacity, that type of thing.
Absolutely. Every time just first person
Yeah.
walking past, I never see really anyone in there. So, it's beautiful.
Oh, it's beautiful. They, in the past, before COVID, they would also use it for some of the, youth swim programs.
Right.
Like I know Imagine Swimming would use it, they would have their young swimmers, speaking of kids going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Very fast, but, that would be on hours other than the community hours. They want to specify.
Right.
The community hours were, before COVID, like I said, when I used it, it was, never got too busy. Sometimes it got semi-busy, but most of the time.
What time was that?
Like 8 to 10 in the morning.
Right.
Right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, because I think that's something that people don't always remember or know.
Right. And you're right about how COVID kind of shut things down.
Yeah.
And then they were redoing the pool for a while too.
Right, that was a huge, took years, but yes.
The pool is beautiful.
It is
Yeah,
beautiful.
great pool.
It is, it's like the dive pool.
Yeah, and-
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And the NY pool that I mentioned before, they allow, people in community pool too to use it. Because it's up in the village.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Well, it's important. I
Thank
mean, we are lucky that we are lucky that we do have, different offerings at different times. But I want to make sure that people understand what they're all about. And I don't think the messaging has been there. And I don't think we've had contact with the heads of people who run them. So I think I will loop in that onto the agenda as well for October and see if we can make some headway. Max, are you still on with us? He might have had to dive off, but I'll follow up with him because I think he's always been great in helping us find funding for projects like this.
And Patricia, what about, what's happening, if anything, any news on Harbor School?
Yeah, he just told me today that he'd have to get back to me, but as you know, or as you might remember, I should say, we were supposed to have the plans in the month of September, and it's the month of September. So he told me he'd get back to me. He wrote me this morning and said he'd get back to me as soon as he could with an update. So I'm going to have that on October. We should definitely have them to present by then. They might even come and present, which would be ideal. Yeah, so it's moving along. They told me they're on schedule. That's good. I think that's it. Does anybody else have anything to add on the budgets, budget ideas, anything, any concerns?
How have you heard anything overall in terms of, you know, the mayor calling budget cuts across the city? Is that something we've heard on a community basis, anything, or is that?
I've gotten 3 things today, Wendy, with Mayor Adams. They say text Mayor Adams. It's a 917 number. I was surprised to see that, but that was going around today. I do know that he is thinking about it, and it would be a disaster. Like they've already, you know, had budget cuts. We still don't have enough teachers. Class sizes are too large. Even though our schools are under enrolled, the class sizes are still too large. And we don't have proper mental health support at our schools. As Bob said, we don't have enough teachers who speak or dual language. We're missing, there's 7,000 unfilled teacher positions right now. So I don't know what's going on and what he's thinking, but so yes, there are a lot of things going around that are encouraging people to reach out to Mayor Adams and encourage him not to do this. And I think we have just a tiny bit of time left. I want to say it's probably a couple weeks out that this decision is going to be made. But I didn't see an amount of the cuts. I didn't see a percentage or a dollar number. But I don't think it would be a good idea.
If I could just correct something that I said before, I just Googled on my, I have a hotspot on my computer, so I Googled the BMCC Community Swim Program. So they have swimming for the 18 years old and up, and their hours right now are 3:30 PM to 6:30 PM, Monday through Friday, and Saturday and Sunday, 9 AM to 12. And
3:30.
yeah, it's like an odd hour, but you know, people.
I can't imagine they don't have a swim team for their school.
We don't have one.
And then they also have a 65 and older program,
When's it?
and that's also 3:30 to 6:30, Monday through Friday, and basically the same hour. It's just a different price. That's BMCC.
There you go.
It's probably not utilizing that pool that well.
No, I mean, they used to house Imagine Swimming's team every day.
But they used to have a community program in the morning when I was before COVID, but now they have it in the afternoon.
You know, I'll inquire about that. It's
Yeah.
area, but I'll, just find out and say there's some interest in maybe expanding hours, perhaps, into the evening. Is that when people would?
I think if the community, you know, if you're really talking about adults, they're not gonna go at 3:30.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so, you know, if it's in the morning or late in the evening, that's one thing, but I don't think it's reasonable to open the pool for the public. You know, 3:30 to 6, you're not gonna get a lot of
No.
people that have those hours.
Okay.
Exactly.
Tossing around a lot of ideas on how to get, there's a lot of people that don't know how to swim. And that BMCC maybe could take that on. We do it on a very small basis, you know, we find out someone doesn't know how to swim, and I even went in the pool with somebody, but there needs to be a lot of, and I bet you a lot of them are BMCC, students or their families, that would be great, because that's, every year someone, you know, it's a problem, and so it would be great to have don't know how to swim, come to BMCC, we'll teach you how to swim.
Well, imagine had a swim lesson situation. For
But
all-
that's high cost, like us.
Yes, it was not inexpensive. No,
No, it's funded by the clients like us, you know.
yes,
Right. Well,
that is true.
I'll reach out to athletic director
Yeah, who's it?
Matthew Ruiz. And
I used to know them all. They used to run good programs. We're happy to talk to them too.
okay, great.
Going back to the budget
A lot of
question,
the
super quick though,
trained in us.
thank you, Lucy, for reminding me that on the MetroCard issue, it's actually not closed because we are requesting that there are 4 swipes and weekend usage on the MetroCard for the students, and right now they are down to 3 swipes. I don't know why 3. And I guess weekday only.
The Metro card?
We discussed it last meeting. You wanted to add that to the budget to increase the Metro card for the kids for the weekend?
Yes.
And for 4 swipes,
Yeah.
Thank you.
if I recall. Okay, so you'll add that on. I send you and Rosa the Excel sheet.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, so we've got 5.
So where's the fourth swipe being used? Because I was under the impression that you take the first swipe to school, the second swipe to your activity, and then the third swipe home.
When the issue, Richard, do you remember when the issue was brought up?
They have after-school programs sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's the second swipe.
But it's not
Yeah,
always.
Sometimes they have to go back to school though.
I would say, but it's not always at
Oh, okay.
school.
Yeah. No, they come to school in the morning, they go to an activity, but not everybody goes to an activity, then they come back to the school, and then they go home.
okay.
And then
4
the
swipes.
weekends, they have weekend practice, which the kids are
But-
not receiving.
But to give that to everybody, let me put
Well,
my
it's just
fiscally
one
conservative
way.
hat on,
They can give it
what?
to everyone, Or they can give individual Metro cards to the children that are going to.
Yes,
The weekend activities on
right.
a Friday and say, hey, here's your.
that's what we did, right?
I mean, for
Well,
Saturday.
this is what, I mean, the coaches are supposed to distribute them. You know, when my daughter was at Beacon, they would, you know, the coach would say, here are your Metro cards to the game. You know, but then if you weren't in the right place at the right time, you might not get it. That person might not connect with everybody on the team. We had a coach
Right.
that drove to the meet and his whole team took the subway. We just like, it didn't really work out well to have the coaches do it. And there was waste, I think, as a result. Like, you know what, if you give a coach like 18 passes and they only need 10, there's waste. It's better just to, you know, if people don't have after school and don't need it, you could do it by application. You know, if at the beginning of the year, say I'm going to be playing, you know, I'm going to be running cross country, I'm going to be playing volleyball. But they should be able to get to their activity and they do have to come back to school. And sometimes those after school things are not directly after school as well. You know, the timing of them is tricky. And kids are just jumping the turnstiles. I mean, that's what they're doing.
Right.
They can either keep doing that or we can actually make it legal and give them Metro cards. So,
If I may, like, I really do have to reiterate, this is just a thought. The New York City subway should be completely free for New York City high school and elementary school children, you know, all the time, like, just giving. It seems redundant and ridiculous to be parsing out Metro card, you know, with this many rides and just make it free, you know, because education should be, and anything related to education is an equity issue.
I agree with you.
And it would-
I do too.
that's-
You know, back in the day, it was. Back when I was in school, they.
I do too.
and you could go anywhere you wanted on the subway or the bus with your unlimited bus pass for kids in school.
But there were hours on those, I think.
That might be true, but still, anytime you rode during the permissible time.
Yeah, not on weekends.
Hours would be fine, you know, if they could key them in a way that they were, you know, up until 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock on a weekday, and on the weekends, just, you know, at the times the games are, that would work.
They currently work until 8:30 p.m.
It's the MTA budget.
So the 8:30 p.m. and some kids, especially with the older ones, their practice and games would end after that. But the kids just, as you said, they'll jump over the turnstile.
So we.
Being mindful.
All
of
right, well,
time.
I just added that.
Is there anything else that we want to discuss regarding the budget? Okay, then I would like to use the remaining time that we have to thank Wendy very much, because she.
I'm not going very far.
I know, but you don't be regularly at this meeting, I'm guessing, so thank you. I mean, as a parent, especially as a PS 150 parent, somebody who got to walk in your footsteps afterwards and sort of benefit from all the hard work you had done there for years, and all the hard work that everybody frankly on this committee does all the time, that before I joined the community board, I had no idea. Bottom of
Been
our
my
hearts
pleasure.
from every single family that got to benefit from your hard work, every single kid. And we'll just cut you down at every other community.
Well, it's the
board
next
meeting.
generation. That's the thing. I joined the community board, I think, when my son was in 5th grade, and he's now a sophomore in college. So that tells you, time for the next generation.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
I'm
would
still
say
on-
this.
Oh, yeah, I have 2 other committees, but I just figured, you know, last year I didn't have any kids in public school, so I think it's time for the next generation to come on board.
Well, Wendy, I want to say the same thing. You know, we've known each other a very long time, and when I think back at your contributions, I can't even like wrap my head around, you know, a third of them. You have had so many great ideas that have, you know, that we've run with. I can really credit you with the 150 being able to remain in their space. You really spearheaded that connection between those parents and the elected officials. That was a really heavy lift. There's so many heavy lifts. So I just want to thank you so much for that. And the dyslexia, that was your idea too. So I will really miss you, and I hope we can call upon you if we need you.
I said, I'm not leaving community board 1, just passing this committee on to the next generation. Now we have to, I also think resiliency is a massive lift that, with lots of question marks. So, thanks, everybody.
Yes, it is. They're lucky
Tricia.
to. Yes.
Was Escudero was our elementary school director. So I'd like everybody, he runs PS 234, PS 89, PS 276, PS 150, and PS, he does speak Spanish. He ran the summer rising program this summer and ran down there and held that program together. So I just wanted to acknowledge him.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that, and thank you for doing it. That's a big job.
It's a big job.
Thank you all for all the work you guys do. Wendy, I had no idea this was wow.
It's okay, have some cookies.
She made some herself.
They're sent with us.
I just make them.
That's it for now.
I think,
Meeting adjourned?
yeah.
Meeting adjourned.
Everybody.
Okay.
Tricia, yes? Yes, Tricia?
Tricia, we'll be wishing you the best out there.
Yeah.
Meeting
I,
adjourned.
sir, I can't hear you. What'd you say?
I said, we'll be wishing your family the best out there. I'm so sorry. It sounds like a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate your understanding, and yeah, I'll be back in New York this weekend, but thanks for being willing to have me.
The
check
girls
out.
are back in school. Tricia, your girls are back in school?
They are, yep, everything so far so good.
Okay.
Yep, empty nester.
Uh,
All right, guys, well, have a great month and we'll see you next month.